The Slow Boil, Episode 2, The Beginning, by Aria de Lariviere, and published by Unfiltered Publishing, LLC. I am your host, Aria de Lariviere. Hello, listeners. I was having trouble with the episode trying to figure out where to begin. Where does one begin when 30 years have gone by and you're not sure how you got there? I guess the beginning. 1994, my first year of high school. I was very nervous. I went to a very large school. I was not very outgoing, but I wanted to be. Instead of doing dance this time, I joined theater. And I did meet a really good group of people. And that's also where I met him, my slow boil. We were both so stupidly young, impossibly young. That young that produces a first love that is insane and stupid. For both of us, I think. We dated for 9 months, and in high school years, that seems like an eternity. The entire time, he had wanted to have sex. Saying stupid things like, why can I touch you here, but not here, grabbing at different parts of my body. Causing me once to have a panic attack because he was doing it in front of somebody we went to school with. So much so that I ended up running out of his apartment and just looking like an idiot. But, I didn't realize that was a slow boil. I thought it was boys being boys. Because after all, that's what boys do. They only want one thing after all. Isn't that what we're always told? When we finally did have sex, I was on painkillers. I wasn't in dance, but my theater class did produce something for the drama festival that did put me on a stage where I was in a dance. And I just missed my spot and broke my hand in a couple of different spots. After the dance was over, I took everything off of the stage like I was supposed to, and I promptly went outside and screamed and threw up. He came out running after me, held the door so we wouldn't be locked out. He looked at me, realized how broken my arm was and that I was going to go back on stage for a bow, and he just gave me a huge hug and a kiss. I didn't realize it then, but I think he liked how much pain I could take. Odd, I know. Something that you should look out for, though, ladies. I ended up going home and going to the emergency room the next day because my mother was, like I said, broken in a couple of different spots. So they gave me some beautiful painkillers that I've never had before. And high as a kite, that is the first time I ever had oral sex. Upstairs in one of the teacher's bathrooms, he went down on me for the first time. I'm not going to lie. Did it feel good? Sure. Was I completely aware? Absolutely not. Was that coercion? Most certainly. I ended up being in so much pain that I had to have my older sister's boyfriend come and get me. My boyfriend had called him and told him, please come and get her. She's hurt. And he did. Brought me home, made sure I ate, went back to the hospital. They had to reset it because the sling was not caught in it. It should have been in a cast. It will be a couple of days before they can do that. So for now, more painkillers. Well, I came over a couple of nights after the festival. I'd just gotten back from the hospital. I was extra tired. I had my entire family there because they're the type that either show up or they don't. And this time they all did. Well, after I got sick literally all over my nightgown and went upstairs and showered and went and crawled in my bed, he comes and crawls in with me. For the very first time we had sex, it was with my bedroom door open. My entire family, including my grandparents and my great-grandparents, laughing downstairs at whatever they were talking about, to the background of Darkwing Duck. God, we were young. I don't think he used protection. I don't remember if he asked. I didn't tell him no, though. So I didn't consider it rape. Not really, right? I was semi-conscious. I was only very drugged. But it was okay, because we had been dating. case you're wondering, listener, that was not okay. But that was the beginning of a very, very slow boil. Things that I thought were okay that just really were not. It would go on like that for a long time, where he would push the envelope and have me do things that I was not quite comfortable with while I was on those painkillers. To this day, I won't take them. I have gone through natural childbirths, wisdom teeth being pulled, and gallbladder removal, and I refuse to take painkillers because I will not be that unaware of my surroundings again. It was something that he didn't really see as wrong, though. He liked to push the envelope and didn't see it as wrong. I don't think the entire time we were together, we used contraception that he was responsible for more than twice. I certainly don't think he was using contraception with the people he cheated on me with, but that is a different episode. For now, it's just the slow boils. It's the putting me in positions where I don't want to embarrass him or myself because he's being inappropriate. And if I move the covers, then what? Of course, everybody knew. Nobody said anything. When I got pregnant, it was on me. Both times. The first time was very violent. Not by him. By what he did to me, yes. Physically, no. Psychologically and emotionally, absolutely. He went from loving me to hating me with so much whiplash. Oh, my Lord. But I loved him still. I don't know why, but I did. With a stupidness. Maybe it was because everything else in my world was falling apart and I didn't want this too, even though it was. There was so much that happened in this time period. I literally wrote a book about it. So I won't go into everything. But I will say, pregnancy has always been the most dangerous time for me, no matter what choice I made. By the time I got pregnant with our second, I asked him what he wanted me to do. He said, "You decide," which of course meant he wanted me to have an abortion, but he wouldn't say so. I couldn't. Not this one. I didn't regret doing it before. That's not why. Just I wasn't in that space. When I got pregnant, he lied and told everybody it wasn't mine. Everybody. Anybody who would listen. His mom, my friends, his friends. Completely isolated me. Made up ridiculous lies. Just insanity. I was still friends with his mom. Did not have many people in my life that I could look up to. So I was glad that I was able to keep her around in my life. We were coming back New Year's Eve from doing some theater dance / festivities downtown. I was about 6.5 months pregnant. I didn't show because I was very young and could hide it under a baggy sweater, which I did. He was dating somebody else. He was surprised to see me. He seemed excited, but confused. His mom explained that it was just a long way back to drop me off, so she was going to take me home in the morning. I told her, "Don't worry about it, I'll just grab the bus," which I did. But that night, we just sat on the couch and we talked. And he kept trying to kiss me. But it's New Year's. Don't ruin it. Come on, it's New Year's. We didn't kiss. I rejected him quite vehemently. You know which word I'm looking for, listeners. When I had gone into the room to change, he gave me money for Planned Parenthood. It was well past the point of Planned Parenthood. I think he understood this. He was a bright guy even then. I don't know what he thought. I know he wanted to push me in front of the cars or downstairs. He had said as much. And I said he was joking, but he wasn't. God, did I want to jump in front of those cars. Threw the money back on the floor, and I told him it wasn't going to happen. And later, after the movie, I went to bed, said goodnight to his parents. He took the couch. I woke up with him inside of me, completely hard. God enjoying himself for I don't know how long. But I was not happy. Tried to tell him that. They didn't hear it. He thought I was enjoying it. Sometimes your body's reaction when you're asleep is just it's your body's reaction. That's not consent. I made him get up and get out. And I went and sat on his porch and I cried. I cried in the snow, in the freezing cold, until he finally came out and he asked me to come inside. Honestly, I think it was more because he didn't want his parents to find out. The more I think back on our relationship, I don't think there ever was a relationship outside of him just wanting to possess me in one way or another. And whenever I fell out of line, drama ensued. The next morning, I ended up taking the money. I told him he could think of it as an advance on child support. I ended up giving his dad, who did not drive or work and was kind of a deadbeat. No, he was a deadbeat. I ended up giving him like $100 to his friend to give me a ride home. To be fair, it was about an hour out of the way on a holiday. But still, Uber would never. He wanted to go with me to make sure I didn't say anything to his dad, I'm sure. Honestly, the only reason I didn't scream was because I knew that his dad would come out. And he would deck him. And he would have deserved it. But even then, I was protecting the people that hurt me. And I wish I could know why. The next day, like I said, he wanted to go with. But at first, he had to go and explain to his girlfriend why he wouldn't be seeing her right away because he was going to be taking his ex-girlfriend, who's pregnant and crazy, home. And I was crazy. He made me crazy. No, it's not his fault. I always lived on the other side of the bridge, but he sure did like to push me over every chance he got. Some of the most vile things I have ever been called came out of his mouth. Things that I shared with my ex-husband when he was a friend. He would use those same words because he knew how much they hurt. I won't even say them because it will be a violation and I will get kicked off of all platforms. But if he's listening, he remembers, I'm sure. He likes to say that memory compartmentalizes so that you can survive. Don't I know it? He stayed until around 10 o'clock that night. When he finally left, I did try to kill myself. I took an entire bottle of pills, and I meant it. Thankfully, before really much could happen, two friends of mine who had been coming over, were planning to come over, that evening anyway, had found me and made sure that I was okay and that the baby was okay. I most certainly was not okay. But thankfully, my baby was. By the time I went into labor, it was Easter Sunday. Still snowing, only in New England. I had no idea what labor was going to feel like, but I was petrified I knew it was going to hurt. I am 5'6", and my mom did not mind sharing the stories of her labor. And my sister, oh my God, she was so brave. Her labor story, it was so scary that I invited her to be present at mine. If she could get through hers, then she could absolutely get me through mine. And she did. She was amazing. She had tried to call my babe's dad and say, hey, she's in labor. His mom tried to tell him, but he locked himself in his room and never came. I had a wonderful midwife, though, my entire pregnancy. And she was great with everything. When my mom was being abusive in the labor room, she kicked her out. 10 out of 10. Almost couldn't do it, though. After hours and hours of pushing, I broke every blood vessel in my entire body. I looked like a giant tomato. My midwife was about to call it and get the crash cart to bring me upstairs for a C-section. I asked for one more try. Green Day came on the tape that he'd made me to bring to the hospital, ironically. When I come around, my midwife orchestrated a sing-along and a push, and 5 minutes later, I welcomed my little one into the world. And I cried. I cried so hard at the relief that I felt that they were there. They had all their toes, all their fingers, their nose, bright blue eyes that were already staring at me. Completely awake. My little Magoo. Was a little squishy, covered in blood. Looked just like me and him. They were perfect. Absolutely perfect. He didn't see him for the first month. And even then, it was only because his mom was babysitting while I moved. I got called like 5 times that evening to try to come and get the baby, but I didn't drive, so that was not happening. They were going to have to wait until we got all of our furniture in and out, and I could get the bus up there. That was the only time my child ever slept under the roof with their father. And they couldn't wait to get him out of the house fast enough. He would come in and out of my life for another year, saying how much he loved me, how sorry he was. He even proposed to me on Valentine's Day. He brought me out to dinner. He had a steak and I had a soup and salad because I knew he didn't have a lot of money. He flirted with our waitress the entire time, obnoxiously so. Like, she got annoyed. It's always nice when a girl is a girl's girl. We left and walked around and went to Prospect Park, overlooking the city. And we sat on a bench. We went quiet for a very long time. And then he looked at me, and he kissed me, and he got on one knee. And he told me that he loved me, and that he wanted me to be his wife, and he wanted to be my husband, but he didn't want to be a father. Something in me broke, something so deep. I've never been that hurt, and I have been hurt. But the combination of those words was such a sucker punch. All I could do was stand up and walk away. And I kept walking. I walked for about an hour, and he followed me. In the beginning of our high school relationship, he had given me an Anthony medal. We both had a bit of a speech delay and a speech impediment, a bit of a stutter. So it was a big deal when he got it. And he put it on a chain, and I wore it all through high school. I have pictures of me wearing this little medallion. But when I wouldn't give up the baby, he wanted it back. So, of course, I wrote him a letter, one of many ridiculous letters I wrote him in high school, along with his medal. Well, standing there in the middle of the night on Valentine's Day, I told him I didn't want his ring. That he had given me something before, and he asked for it back. And if that held meaning and then meant nothing, then so did this, especially without our child included. He opened up his wallet, and he took out the letter I had written, along with the Anthony medal, and he threw it into the river along with the ring. And I just started to cry. I fell to the ground on my knees, and I just cried. I don't even know what I was crying about. But as soon as I saw him throw that Anthony medal, it just broke. He just walked away into the night. And that's how I always see him. Me crying. Him always with his back turned, walking away. He signed up for the army shortly after. He'll end up doing just about as long as our daughter was alive service. She's 29, so somewhere around 28, 29. Somewhere in there he had lied and got in trouble. But of course, found a way to blame it on me. My daughter was maybe 2 years old, and I had an army officer come knocking on my door in his little peon, asking if I knew Mr. So-and-so. I thought the fucker was dead. Nope, not dead. He was missing whatever he was supposed to be doing because he told them that his ex, being me, had abandoned her child with him in Texas and just left them there because he had no family and he didn't know anybody, had no one else to watch the kid. And this happened so frequently that these people showed up all the way to New England knocking on my door to find out if it was true. My reputation was just nothing to him. It was a joke. I was just one of many, many examples of the slow boil. But the light was my kiddo. She looked absolutely perfect, and she was. But oh my Lord, she just truly took everything. Autism is not for the weak of heart. You need a lot of care and redirection and therapy and love and understanding. And when your little sensory overload is insane, she would lose her little cookies left and right. Too light, too loud. Something didn't feel right. She had already gone through a surgery. She survived brain surgery at 6 months to stop seizures and a blood bleed on her brain. She survived meningitis. She is a survivor. But oh my goodness. I didn't know if I was going to survive. Every time he had a new girlfriend, he had a kid. That was the thing. And he'd want him to sleep over and, oh, I can watch for the week and, it'd be fine. It's not a fish. It's a child. This is a child who has a lot of needs. This isn't just somebody that's going to be chill. No. If things do not go the way that they need to go, this is going to be a very long day for everybody involved, and that is polite. I will say, when I met my ex's uncle for the first time last year, did it explain a lot, because apple meat tree. For the record, vaccines do not cause autism. It is genetic, 100%. The two of them should be cast in the new Rain Man, I am telling you. My daughter agrees. It's a good joke. You can laugh. I just never understood the performativeness of being a parent. You either are or you're not. The fact that when he had a girlfriend, all of a sudden he wanted to play house. But he proposed to me, saying he wanted to be a husband and I his wife, but not a father. My brain could never wrap that. I just know. Manipulation is so layered that I think sometimes you don't realize it for what it is until so many years have passed and you can see it for what it was. I wish I could say that they had a relationship through the years, but they didn't. I just reached out to my daughter's family a couple of years ago because she asked. And I was happy to do it. I reconnected with her grandmother, who I honestly adore and she is named for. But her village, who my daughter should have had, was taken. His entire family didn't know she existed because he didn't want them to. I did everything alone, but I did it. I did it with help, but I did do it. Something that people always say is, oh my goodness, choose life. But they don't tell you what happens to you when you do. I was kicked out of high school. My reputation was completely tarnished. My church told me not to come in again on Mother's Day because he made a fuss to the director saying I made him uncomfortable. And I just didn't want to go back after that, honestly. Would you? Everywhere that was comforting and safe, he took away. He was absolutely my slow boil. An abuse so subtle that almost didn't feel like abuse until you think, if this happened to somebody else, oh yeah, that's abuse. My daughter is just going to be 30 and absolutely gorgeous, in a beautiful relationship for years, in a wonderful place, cared for and loved by friends and family who adore her. He gave me a lot to carry, but I got to carry her. And for that, thank you. This has been Aria de Lariviere, The Slow Boil in the Beginning, by On Publishing, LLC.